Affluenza is a portmanteau of affluence and influenza that describes the psychological and social effects of wealth. Most of us would love to be absurdly wealthy, but those who have never known anything but extreme wealth and privilege can develop this odd and dangerous disease of the mind. Once infected, patients see the world through rose-colored glasses so strong that everything becomes distorted. Everything is filtered through their shiny affliction, from the value of a cup of rice all the way up to the value of a human life. When a person becomes that out of touch with reality, you never know what they're capable of. Most of the time, we'll never find out either. But every now and then, we do. I'm Holly.
I'm Leslie.
And we would be dead. Leslie.
Hey, Holly.
Hey, Fiends. Really sorry, everyone, that there was no shortly after midnight last week. Sad.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I was yet again visited by the COVID fairy and spent a solid 5 days in my bed.
Yeah.
Down for the count.
Yeah, it was a bad one for you this time.
This one reminded me of COVID-1.
Ah.
Yeah. And the worst part for me, and by the way, it's all over our area. Everybody has COVID right now, so be careful. The worst part for me was the brain fog. I could not string together a sentence for like a couple days. It was a nightmare. So be careful. Carry your hand sanitizer around you guys. You can get something that smells nice and seasonal.
There you go.
Yeah. Find yourself a silver lining. We will be back in 2 weeks with more frightening fiction because this week's episode is a two-parter.
Woo.
I know. It's pretty intense, so it made more sense for us to do this in 2 installments, and to break them up with an episode of Shortly After Midnight felt frustrating.
Yeah.
So, you guys are going to have these 2, and then we'll have some more fiction. But boy, oh boy, do I have a case for you this time.
No, I have no idea what this is.
I know. I specifically told Leslie not to look up anything about this case because I want her to be surprised.
Yeah.
I did give her assignments, but she has no idea how they relate to the story.
Yeah. They were very sweet assignments.
Yeah, here you go. I promise you it'll work out.
Yeah.
And guys, at no point during this episode are you going to be able to predict where things go next.
Oh boy, that's exciting.
Things just keep happening.
Good.
Yeah, it is a roller coaster. So today we are talking about the mysterious case of the woman in the abandoned house.
Oh. I don't love that at all.
No, yeah, I know. It sounds pretty spooky, right?
Yeah.
And guys, if you are listening to our coverage of it, I'm going to give you all my sources. Don't go looking for things until you finish it with us, because it is so much more fun if you have it all unfold for you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, don't go checking on my sources.
No, my sources are immaculate, trust me. But this is a hybrid case, which means it's 2 different locations. Half of it takes place in Brazil and the other half takes place in America, in Maryland.
Oh, okay.
The American half, I realized 3/4 of the way through all of this process that it happened less than a mile from where my husband lived in Maryland for many years.
Oh, really?
During the same time.
Yeah.
So he was there for it.
Oh, my God.
I said, do you remember this? And he was like, no. I don't know how. We'll talk about all of that later, because after we get all the facts of this out next week, there's a lot of discussion to be had.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Now I'm mad it's a 2-parter.
Sorry. I first learned of this case when I saw some girl freaking out about its accompanying documentary on TikTok. One of those boy, do I have the documentary for you. If you like scary stuff, here it comes. And that led me to some really important sources. So the bulk of the work in unearthing this tale came from the podcast Mujer da Casa Abandonada, The Woman in the Abandoned House, by Chico Felitti. Chico is an amazing journalist and storyteller. I first heard his work on the podcast Guru, Don't Cross Cat, which you can find in English and is also completely wild. I highly recommend it. The Woman in the Abandoned House podcast was also used as the source material for the Prime documentary Abandoned, The Woman in the Decaying House. I don't know why they changed the name. Maybe because I guess Chico didn't produce it. He is heavily featured in it, but it's just weird. I don't know. This documentary is really good, but it is also originally made in Portuguese that is then dubbed into English. So there are a few little moments where you can get kind of turned around in the captions.
Okay.
Or there's like English captions for no reason. It's weird.
Okay.
But it's easy to figure out, easy enough at least. Lastly, all of us that covered this case have drawn heavily from trial transcripts, which are all available in their entirety, and the original case coverage by the Washington Post, as well as the recent Washington Post article that summarizes the whole thing called The Fugitive Heiress Next Door by Manuel Roig Francia. If I mispronounce any names, I'm very sorry. But there were a lot of sources this week to roll into one, and I'd be lying if I said my head wasn't spinning a little. And I don't tolerate spinning very well. I'm kind of a motion sick person.
Sure, yeah.
You know? So I'm looking kind of green and wobbly right now. Right? Not exactly showing my best side.
It's not good.
Yeah. How are you, Leslie? How are you faring over there?
Fine.
You're perfect as usual?
Yep.
I know. I can't keep up. It's terrible. Well, personally, I can't just summon my glow from the inside. So
Sure.
I've tried everything I can think of to bring a little color back into my cheeks, but nothing seems to be working.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I feel like I'm all out of options, unless... Don't tell anyone, okay? But I have heard whispers of a super secret, fast-working ingredient as of late that may be able to cure all of my problems. You don't have any problems. They're just mine.
Right.
I've heard that all I need is just a few little drops of...
Validation, a hill worth dying on.
I'm glad that you still know the ingredient, even though you don't need it.
I don't, because
Perfect.
it just comes from within.
It does, for some.
For me.
But the best part of this ingredient is that our fiends can give it to us. Can give it to me. Totally free of charge.
Shut up. How?
But how? You must be asking yourself.
Yeah.
With good reason. Well, I will tell you. Simply head on over to Spotify or Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star rating and or a friendly review. It really is the only way to move this podcast forward. Ratings and reviews equal attention, attention equals support, and support equals more and better content for all of you.
We just love attention.
Who doesn't?
There's a lot of people.
They like some kind of attention.
I love attention until I get it.
What if it's attention in the form of like a written compliment that you don't have to look anyone in the eye for? You just get to read it and then go, and move about your day.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's what this is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
It's good.
Give us that.
Exactly.
Why isn't everybody doing this?
I know. But if you just can't wait for more We Would Be Dead in your life, don't worry, you don't have to. You can support us over on Patreon. There, for just a few dollars a month, you will gain access to our entire catalog of 30-minute horror movies, our special minisodes, our weekly after show, Host Mortem, which is available in both video and audio formats. Maybe you want to see our faces. Maybe you don't. Both are okay. We're fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
You'll also get a special gift in the mail from us, the opportunity to participate in giveaways, some merch deals, an on-air toast dedicated just to you, and more.
Yeah.
So many things.
I've been trying to post more on there recently.
Thank you, Leslie. Leslie does the brunt of our Patreon things.
Mm-hmm.
So we all thank her for her hard work over there. We also have more exclusive content in the works for you, our beloved patrons. But if you have anything you'd like to see or hear, never hesitate to let us know. We like requests.
Yep.
Tell us what you need. Tell us what you like. In all honesty, we are here thanks to our patrons, so come on over and be part of the We Would Be Dead family.
It's nice.
It's
is cozy.
It's so nice. And if all of that is a little too much for you, you can simply follow us on social media. We are at Would Be Dead Pod anywhere and everywhere you get your content. You can like our posts, share our posts, like and share our posts.
Yes.
That's the best one. You can leave us a comment, post about your favorite episodes. Let us know when you're listening. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, tell that one person you see walking around in the evening that seems nice enough, but there's just something off about them and you can't put your finger on it. Like maybe it's nothing, but also maybe they did time 30 years ago for killing a man. You just can't tell.
Yeah.
What's their name?
Their name is Trevor.
Yeah. Like maybe he's great. Maybe he's really scary.
Yeah.
I know that there's a Trevor in our fan family. And he will love this about himself.
Okay.
He'd be like, good, keep him guessing.
Yeah.
So it works for all of us. And then your friends and Trevor can become fiends and we can all hang out together. Which
Maybe.
could be awesome or dangerous. Don't you want to find out?
Either way, he should be on our side.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
You're with us, Trev.
Definitely. Well, I think that's all I have in the way of news before we begin.
Okay.
Leslie, do you have anything else to add?
Well, Holly, I do not.
All right, then. On with the show. Our story begins in Sao Paulo, Brazil, which, in case you didn't know, is a densely populated megacity, or rather it has been dubbed an, quote, alpha global city, to be specific.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it has.
That's like a crazy made-up title.
That is.
They call it things like a mega metropolis, an alpha. I'm like, who's sitting around making these words? But it's official.
Have a lot of confidence issues.
Yeah, for sure. I guess. But
Other
organizations gave them those titles.
Oh.
I don't know. It's
wild.
wild.
Well, then they're doing something right.
They just have a lot of people.
Oh.
With over 12 million residents packed into just 587 square miles, Sao Paulo is the most populous city in not just its home country of Brazil, but also in the Americas and both the Western and Southern hemispheres.
Oh, wow.
It's big, population-wise.
Yeah.
Not landmass-wise, just population-wise. To put it in American terms,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sao Paulo is roughly the same size as Houston, Texas, but it has 10 million more residents. Now, I've never been to Houston.
I was just going to say it. That's still...
Either it's really sparse and chill, or I don't know, or just Sao Paulo is really intense. I'm going to go with the latter. But let's zero in on it a little more because I need everyone to have a sense of place and both of us are still confused.
Yes.
Okay. To put it in American coastal terms, the city of Los Angeles is 502 square miles and contains 3.87 million residents. And just to refresh, Sao Paulo is almost the same size and has 12 million people.
Okay.
Right. So, but you know what? We still don't live in LA. Yeah. Let's try again. If we jump over to the East Coast, we'll actually find the closest approximation of the ratio of place to people that we're looking for. And that would be New York City.
Okay.
So New York City is 468 square miles and contains 8.48 million residents. And if you're there during Christmas time, it is overstimulating as hell and there's way more. But just so you know, it's like that crowded, but a little more so. And it's that urban.
Okay.
So if you're trying to conjure up like what kind of city you're entering, because we call a lot of things cities. A lot of times we'll talk about a city in an episode and it'll be a place with like a little main street and they have a market.
Right.
And then there's a couple streets with houses and that's the city. No, this is like a big old city.
Right. Okay.
So Higienópolis.
Oh, girl.
What a fun name that I was terrified of saying. Is like a strange little oasis in the center of this literal mega metropolis. It is a quiet little neighborhood filled with tree-lined streets and elegant architecture, both historic and modern, offering a unique blend of the city's heritage and contemporary life. You do not have a sense of city, really, in this place. Like if you dropped a little green neighborhood in the center of Manhattan.
Right. Like if Central Park was just calm.
Yeah, and had houses.
You're right. Okay.
So homes have soft green lawns and fragrant gardens. There are lush green areas, including Buenos Aires Park, which provides an extensive green space in a city that has no grass, essentially. Sao Paulo, rather notoriously, has too few metro stations, so public transportation is okay, but it can be really hard to find in some parts of the city. There's too many places and not enough train stations. But Higienópolis has 2 stations just in their own little neighborhood.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Fancy.
And the train is well connected to all of the metropolitan areas of the greater city. Okay, so how does one get to live in this little paradise among the teeming masses? Because it seems like a bubble almost.
Yeah. Like Hunger Games style?
Money. It's money, of course.
Okay.
You just have to have a crazy amount of money. Mostly old money, but some new. There are people that just now kind of happen to live there. It's becoming more populated. But the neighborhood is also patrolled by copious armed private security guards.
Nice.
Yeah, so a lot of people who live there, the old money people, have hired this kind of security to keep their bubble intact. So that's how they do it. And it's not like city funded. These are people that families in the area have hired.
Right.
So, but the people of Higienópolis are friendly to their neighbors and they have a sense of who each other are for the most part. It's like a gated community with an invisible gate. And there is sort of an unspoken rule that if you live there, you're going to keep your stuff nice.
Okay.
You're not going to be leaving the lawn or not painting your front porch. Your house is going to look good. Everybody's house looks good.
I feel like it's a pretty spoken rule.
Yeah. I mean,
it might not be written down in an HOA.
No one should have to speak it.
But people are going to talk about it.
Yeah, but you should just know.
Yeah.
Just get your shit together, please. Ugh. So now we have a sense of where we're going to start. So enter journalist Chico Felitti. Chico spent 10 years writing for Brazilian newspapers and then, quote, had a breakdown and started writing biographical books and producing long-form podcasts of a similar style. He doesn't mention anything about what happened. He was like, I wrote for newspapers, then I had a breakdown, then I didn't.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, he's doing great now. None of it was unsuccessful, so I guess it was just like a blip. I don't know. But when the pandemic hit in 2020, Chico was trapped for a bit in the city part of Sao Paulo, where things are kind of oppressive. And the pandemic was weird for everyone. So this was very stressful. And he decided he kind of needed to leave that metropolitan style area and found himself a year or so later in 2021, he found a place to live in Higienópolis and he settled in. So, as I said, Chico's career as a journalist was pretty successful. He's doing well for himself. But he does not look like an old money aristocrat. He looks like an incredibly cool Brooklyn-based artisanal instrument maker or a career bike messenger with a trust fund or something.
Okay.
He's tall and in really good shape. He's covered in tattoos, super friendly, has dogs. He walks all over the place. It's that kind of vibe.
He's a podcaster.
I mean, he is a podcaster and he's a really good podcaster. But that image to me is a little bit funny when it's dropped into what we would consider the richest part of Connecticut or something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a lot of cultural clashing all over the place in this story. And it's just something that we should all kind of take notice of. It does play its part.
Okay.
Now, back then, while the pandemic wasn't still at its height, there were still restrictions in place and people still weren't really back to their everyday social lives. We were still locked up. So there really wasn't much to do. So in this lovely new neighborhood, Chico would just walk his dog several times a day for really long amounts. He would just take long, long walks, which in a bubble of beautiful neighborhood, really not that terrible.
Right. That sounds nice.
In a tropical climate, it's nice out. You're walking your dog. Beautiful. We love that for him.
I know.
Get over your breakdown, man. Take a breath. He does not take any breaks. He just figures out what to do next. So Chico and his dogs would wander around and look at all the beautiful properties. Each would be a little bit different than the next. That's the cool thing about this place. There's all different kinds of houses all over the place. You're never bored looking around. 100-year-old villas are next to shiny apartment complexes. Manicured family homes and palatial mansions are all there living in harmony with one eerie, crumbling, abandoned manor at the center.
Ooh.
Yeah. What's up with that?
Yeah.
The first time Chico saw it, he immediately wanted to know more about it. And yeah, I get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
This house clearly was once the crown jewel of the neighborhood. It's big and it's nice. But now it is positively haunting. Or haunted. Or both. Most of the windows were boarded up. The gardens had long since overgrown into a jungle. Rogue ferns that were once potted plants sprouted from the gutters. The once gleaming white paint was now peeling off in sheets, and the pale stone columns flanking the front gate were black with road dust and mold. It felt impossible to see a house like that in this particular place.
Yeah.
It felt like a window into another dimension or something.
Ooh.
It just did not belong.
Right.
Chico stood staring at the old place and wondering, like, what could be going on? And then something moved.
Ew.
It gets worse. A figure
No.
was shuffling along through the garden.
Ew, shuffling?
I've seen video. It's shuffling.
Is this a shortly after midnight
No.
episode? Did you trick me?
No, I didn't.
I'm not ready.
It's shuffling through the garden and towards the front steps.
Mm-mm.
The figure is dressed in rags and had a pale, pure white, otherworldly face.
Shut up.
I don't mean pale skin. I mean something white is on this face.
Holly!
I know. Like clown white.
No.
Yes,
I'm
it's not.
done. You could finish this episode by yourself. Absolutely not. What the fuck? Is this Halloween?
Well, I feel like it's already Halloween time, so.
Okay, but
I know. It's scary, right? So, the face looks back out towards Chico,
ew.
back towards the house, and then scurries inside.
Ew.
What was that?
Shuffling and scurrying around like a little mouse.
Kind of.
Ew.
Yeah, not great. It looked like the ghost of Miss Havisham herself had peered through the doors. Chico was absolutely fascinated. Like, what did he just see? Remember, he's writing stories and podcasts. This guy's like, oh my God. What is this? What was that? Who was she? Was it a woman? Was it a ghost? We don't know. These are pandemic times, too. So everyone's brain is a little scrambled. And you're like, I think anything could happen right now.
Yeah.
I never dreamed I'd live through the plague. And yet here we are. What is it?
Oh, God.
So utterly fascinated by this situation, Chico began walking by the house multiple times every day. He couldn't get enough of it. He's like, I got to see it again. What is it? And he did see her several more times, just like either through the one unboarded window, ascending stairs, looking out the window, occasionally just that white face staring
like
out.
Boo Radley behind there.
Yeah, it's very much just like all the windows are boarded. One is it, and there's a clown white face staring out.
Oh, you know what I'm picturing right now? The I don't remember her name, but the woman from the doctor, our very first episode.
Oh, yeah.
The dead woman.
Yeah. No, you're not far off. You're really not far off. There are so many pictures of this, and it is. I feel like
what was her name? Do you remember?
Oh,
or
Elena.
The doctor. Elena. Yeah.
It was Carl Tanzler's case.
Yeah. Okay.
You're going towards the right direction in how to picture something like that, because she is haunting looking. And I thought, I'm going to see images of this, and it's not going to be what I see in my head. I'm going to be like, that's just a person standing there and they happen to be a little pale. Nope, it's exactly what they describe it like. It's horrifying.
Do not want to do the photo shoot this
week. Excuse me, my COVID is still making me cough. So Chico walked by more and more, and he's observing this figure scuttling and scurrying. And he does come to realize, like, okay, that's a human. It is a real person. It's not a ghost. It's a human. Somebody is living in this house, this boarded up, abandoned house. Someone is living there. And he thinks, who could this possibly be? What is this?
What is happening?
I know. And the more he looked, the more he could tell that her face is covered in a thick white substance. Like there's something all over her face, which he couldn't place that. I'm like, I got nothing for that one, but we're just going to keep looking and see what we find out. So she would come out and do like strange little things like empty refuse buckets into the yard. So I have to tell you that also Sao Paulo is like the most inefficient water-wise city in the world. Mm-hmm. And 12% of the city itself doesn't even have like sewers or running water. So there are some places where they do dump things in the yard and then it like kind of filters out and they bring water in to like swap it and stuff. So I don't know if she just has old antiquated opinions and she's dumping like liquid refuse out there or what it was, but people are grossed out by it. So let's just put it that way. Occasionally, he'd see her busying herself with this and that, like looking like she was doing something in the one window or out in the yard looking like she was doing something there. Sometimes she would be shuffling down the street because she had to go into town occasionally, like she had to get stuff.
Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah. Okay.
So
I guess that makes sense.
She can't have nothing. So he's thinking to himself, like, these people know that there's a person in there, this like disgusting house and this perfectly appointed, like, what is the deal? How are we all allowing this to is everyone seeing this? What is this?
Yeah.
You know? So he thinks this is a story, obviously. It has Grey Gardens 2 written all over it. Chico decided he wanted to talk to the woman of the abandoned manor and create a podcast about her. He imagined she must have had some sort of bittersweet and richly detailed story that he could weave into a piece that was beautiful and poetic. I mean, he imagined this was like a sad once grand dam type situation. And if you're thinking Grey Gardens, yeah, sure, I get it. That's where your mind would go. And it's hard to not think Grey Gardens when you see that. He imagined maybe one day he'd sit out in the overgrown garden, sipping tea, shooing away butterflies, and strike up an unlikely friendship with this eccentric little relic.
Oh, goodness.
It could be cool. Who knows? And that sounds pretty magical, right?
Sure.
And I would have definitely listened to the shit out of that podcast. Like, That's wild. But there was just one problem. This woman did not want to have tea in the garden, and she certainly did not want any friends.
Oh.
So Chico tried to catch her while she was out and about. Like, he really wanted to be like, hey, hello. Like, talk to her. Not like grab her in a sack. No. No. He wanted to like be like casually be like, oh, hey, can we talk? But that was not a thing that she made very possible. I mean, obviously, she's staying in her house. She's reclused in there quite a bit. And every time he would see her and call out like, hello, she would just scurry away.
Ugh. He needs a net.
Maybe, I don't know if you ever thought of a net. You should have thought of a net. I mean, I don't know. So, but one day he stopped seeing her outside. So she kind of caught on to him that he wanted to talk to her. And she was like, absolutely fucking not. So he decided he was going to go knock on this door and he's going to talk to this woman.
Oh my goodness.
I would be shitting my pants.
Yes.
So he goes up, knocks to the door, no answer. Does this for like a half hour. He knows she's in there. She is in there. She doesn't answer the door.
Journalists are so annoying.
And ballsy. Yeah. I could never.
Yeah.
I could never sit there and insist like, I know you're in there. Get out here.
Yeah.
Come on. What are you doing? No, I couldn't do it. But Chico was obsessed. Like, he really wanted to talk to this woman. So he would then start kind of staking out the house. He would just sit outside the house for like hours trying to find her and catch up with her. He'd just sit there. Gotta come out sometime. Except for she didn't. She would not come out. Strange, he thought. But it didn't make him any less interested. If anything, it made him more determined. And so he decided to ask around about her.
I would have done that first.
Same. I think he was kind of like, I want to uncover this. I want to uncover this for myself. Let me go right to her and have this like moment. I mean, I think he was looking for a different story than he got, basically.
I gotcha.
But he did start asking around. And there are a lot of people that have lived there for a long time. These old money folks, these Brazilian aristocrats that have spent generations in this neighborhood. At first, the neighbors were super vague. They said, yes, there's a woman living in that house and her family owned it. And they owned it since it was built a very long time ago. The family had been very wealthy. They were still very wealthy, most people thought. And back in the day, they were grand socialites. So people remember galas in this house and lavish dinner parties. They remember the family who lived there always being perfectly dressed and out about town. The girls never wore pants, always dresses. The house's original owner, they said, was a coffee baron. And the woman who lived there now, who they called Maria, was his granddaughter. Both of her parents had since died, and all of her siblings lived elsewhere. She was living in that house all alone, and everyone suspected it was filthy inside. I mean,
she's probably still not wearing pants.
She is not, 100% not. She's still wearing dresses and scuttling along.
Hopefully.
But what about face? He asked, "What was with all the white stuff?"
Yeah.
You can't just explain that away with, "Well, her family used to be rich and now she lives there." Okay. Neighbors had several theories about what was going on with that, but nobody really knew.
Mm.
A lot of them thought it was a barrier cream that was hiding some sort of hideous skin condition she had developed. Now, in America, we know this kind of ointment as diaper cream.
Okay.
So they imagined it was like
Desitin
smeared all over her face.
Oh, wow.
It'd be so bad for your pores, but okay.
It would be, yeah.
Other neighbors thought it was a white clay mask, which is a sort of skincare treatment that is very popular in Brazil. But the product that she wore on her face did not crack when it was dry. Like most clay masks kind of dry off and then they crack a little bit and you have to like rinse them off. This was not that. It was definitely thick and oily and kind of shiny. So no one really knew what it was. But they figured this lady was old and weird and rich and she didn't look like it, but she definitely did have money. So maybe it was some kind of concoction she had whipped up just for her, or she knew secret tips that they didn't, so they just kind of let her have it. I would not be that chill about it.
No.
No
Okay? Way. I would have had a lot of opinions.
Again, I feel like super rich people would just look at that and be like, that's whatever you are. I have other things to do.
Yeah.
We would be like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
Are you okay? Why do you have baby butt cream on your face?
Right.
No.
Or like, I don't know.
Or they just don't even notice. They're just so far above their neighbor. I don't know.
Yeah. Or they are talking about it, but just like hidden away in their homes talking about it, but just not out in public. They're just like, oh, we don't discuss those things in public.
Exactly. That is unpleasant.
Yeah.
But Leslie, there are a lot of do-it-yourself skincare solutions out in the world that we might think are a little odd, but other people swear by. You know a lot about skincare.
I do.
What can you tell us about some do-it-yourself products?
Okay.
Make us feel a little better about this.
Sure. Okay.
Or worse.
So I just kind of went, so you asked me to do skincare hacks, right?
I'm so excited.
So I did my skincare.
Perfect. This is even better.
So, okay. Here we go.
Now that you understand the way this fits in,
yeah,
pretty funny. Okay.
So you want to stick to a routine.
She did.
Yeah. So I like to wash my face twice a day.
But she did not like that.
And what I wash it with might change, but it's always like a gentle cleanser or micellar water. And once a week I do an exfoliant unless the cleanser I'm using currently has like a gentle exfoliation.
Sure.
But I stick to a routine. It's twice a day.
That could be applied here for sure.
I allow 60 seconds between products.
Smart.
Yeah.
What if you're only using diaper cream?
I guess if you need to layer it, I would say still allow that 60 seconds.
Still let that cool off a little first.
Yeah. Well, because then, you want it to settle in and then put the other layer on.
Sure.
Yeah. Otherwise you're just kind of pushing one layer around. Okay.
Yes.
All right. And then, if I get really greasy throughout the day, right, I like to, this is a little tip. If you get like a 2-ply or like toilet paper or something, you can pull it apart and just use that as to like mop up the grease.
I'm imagining her sticking a ply in her face and it's just paper mache at this point. You could never pull it off. It would just be absorbed by the diaper cream.
Yeah.
So she can't use that tip, okay?
Maybe it's the grease that's causing that glaze to happen. Maybe. I don't know. And then vitamin D, vitamin C, and collagen are your best friends.
She's going outside with that goop on her face. Vitamin D.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it also depends if it's blocking you.
Maybe she thought it was sunscreen. I don't know.
Maybe. Okay. And then I like to use my fingertips as pads to apply the products like serums and moisturizers or diaper creams rather than just spreading it around my face. So I like to pad outwards.
Pat your diaper cream on your face.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretend your fingers are just pads. Just press and
now imagine what that would look like with bright white diaper cream.
Yeah.
Just little dots all over your face.
Yeah. So those are my 5. Skincare hacks.
I tried to apply it. See how this went.
One of the ones that I try, I went back and forth on adding, but it's like I like to spritz with like a rose water or something, either on top of makeup or clean skin, and you could do it throughout the day, and that also could add a nice little dewy look, which could be happening with her. She might be doing
maybe it's a clay mask that she's just constantly rehydrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Just yeah, you could just keep adding oil to it. Maybe some vitamin E.
It's just glossy on top of a clay mask.
Or is just, egg white washes are good. So she could just be constantly
that would probably get kind of white.
Egg white wash on top of.
Yeah. Is there any other, in your experience making skincare, this is putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you can think of that would leave that intense of a white cast on your face?
But like you said, it's like goopy.
It looks thick and greasy. It does not. I mean, she says later she does say like it's a clay mask. Like people say that, but it does not look like that at all. It looks like Desitin.
Right. Well, I guess. I mean, okay. So there could be, if you're making say like a diaper cream or sunscreen or a mask. If it's all natural, a lot of the ingredients can be really similar, but it's just the levels of them.
Okay.
So, and if she, like in a face mask, you wouldn't be adding like zinc oxide to it, but you'd still like say it was like kaolin clay. That's
white. What it is. That's,
okay.
Well, that's what everyone suspects.
Yeah.
That's the blanket explanation that's given, though it looks nothing like that.
Yeah. So then you could just add in items that won't harden it. It would just stay, like instead of it being like in 10 minutes, it'll be on there. But if she's wearing it for a while, like...
This is like all day. Like anytime anyone sees her, this is on her face. Stay curious about this because the explanation given is not the explanation that's real.
But you can make it into a cream.
Okay.
And then, which again could be like could turn into a diaper cream or a sunscreen or I guess even like a face cream. But I think with the kaolin, it wouldn't like absorb the same way. So, yeah.
So it's weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not something that you'd want to do. That seems too thick then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also, even if, let's just suspend all weirdness right here, suspend all disbelief and say, yeah, this is a totally normal skincare solution that many people use. None of them you would be leaving on your face all day long and walking around out in public with them on.
Yeah.
Like if you go out for the day, you don't have a clay mask on your face.
No.
Leaving it on that long would probably be detrimental.
Yeah. Because my guess is that she's mixing it with a thick oil or a butter. So it could be like...
it's just straight up butter.
No, but I mean like a shea butter or something. So it could be like coconut oil and shea butter or cocoa butter or we'll get fancy and do like, I don't know, like apricot and coconut. It could even be like a skin safe wax that she puts on.
Oh yeah, that would be like
those are
bulletproof.
Those can be thrown into like lip butters or lotions, and that helps to thicken a product, but will stay moisturized. And then with the kaolin, if it's just glopped on like that, like a thick layer, she probably could keep that on.
Okay, you may have solved the puzzle. Look at that. Well done, detective work. However, in your opinion, though, would that be good for your skin? Would it be beneficial to keep that on for like 12 to 20 hours a day?
I don't think so, because you don't even do a mask every day.
No. And when you do, it is not for more than, a half hour at the most?
Yeah, I mean, like 10 to 20 minutes.
So the idea that this is a skincare treatment is absurd, basically.
Yeah, but depending on what the mental health is of the person, they could be like, it could be one of those your OCD kind of like...
Yes, but to your average human, that would be an absurd skincare thing.
Yeah, nobody should be doing that.
Exactly. Okay.
Unless she's really dry.
Who knows? Who knows? Okay, well, yes, maybe there's solutions for it. Maybe she just had her own ideas about how to look fresh and youthful in her golden years.
But we never got to see her. Nobody saw her out fresh and gorgeous.
No, only with the white on her face.
Yeah.
Only ever out with that white all over her face. Weird. So Chico kept chipping away at this mysterious facade. But unbeknownst to him, he wasn't alone in his wonderings. In a tidy apartment in the high-rise next door to mysterious Maria, another neighbor, a young woman named Mari, had been on a similar quest for years.
Ooh.
I know.
Teaming up.
Dun, dun, dun. Mari Maradas is a doula, which means she assists in the birth process. So she spent a lot of her time in town with various pregnant women and was in fact trying to get pregnant herself. As you can imagine, this lifestyle and line of work is not for the cold or uncaring. You have to be a very warm and empathetic person to do that. And Mari certainly is that. Her interest was first captured by this strange woman when she was taking a walk in the evening and saw a strange, singular light glowing from inside the one unboarded window. Yep. It was small and dim and otherworldly, and she thought she had seen a ghost.
Of course.
We all did.
God.
Quickly, though, Mari discovered it wasn't a ghost, but a woman who lived like one. Mari was intrigued and began to watch the crumbling old manor every chance she got.
She's like a neighbor boy.
Kind of, yeah. Being as she lived right next door, she had a front row seat to Maria's brief trips into the garden and occasional trundles about town. She didn't see Miss Havisham, though. Mari wasn't seeing some sort of weird, eccentric old woman with a story. She saw an older woman with no one to take care of her, living in a house that had clearly overwhelmed her. She saw a person who needed help. Her heart immediately went out to her. She thought if she could just talk to Maria, perhaps she would allow her to help her clean up her property and get it back on its feet. She genuinely wanted to help her.
Yeah.
She's thinking like, I mean, I could go out and do some yard work for this woman. I could go in and help her clean.
Yeah.
I could like wash her face off a little or something. We can figure this out. This is someone who went through something and I really want to help her. And I think the perspective on who this intriguing figure is, depending on who is seeing her and how it differs, is so interesting.
Okay.
So she did start to go about finding out who she was in a similar way to Chico. She's just kind of like looking around outside, waiting to encounter her. But instead of saying like, hey, come here, she wanted to be like, excuse me, hey, hey, what's your name? I'm your neighbor. She was approaching with that energy, which also didn't work. Yeah. One day while standing around trying to wait for Maria to come out of her house, Mari encountered another neighbor, a well-appointed middle-aged lady walking her dog. She walked by Mari, and the two smiled at each other. Mari remarked that it was a shame, she said, about that woman. I wish I could help her. The middle-aged woman smiled like the cat who swallowed the canary, looked at Mari, and said, oh, you're too young to know who that is.
Ooh.
Mari was stunned. She didn't think anyone who knew who that was. The woman continued, do not feel bad for her. That is an evil woman. Her name is Margarida Bonetti. Her family owned this home. In the 70s, she married a man and moved to America. And there, they kept a woman they brought over with them as a slave in their home for 20 years.
Whoa.
When the American police caught them, Margarida fled back to Brazil. And she's been in that house ever since. She's a fugitive, and she doesn't want or deserve your help.
Whoa.
Plot twist!
Whoa.
Mari was stunned, to say the least. That is not what she expected at all. And how on earth had she lived right next to this woman for all this time, and she didn't know anything about this insane story?
Right.
She had to look for herself. She's like, I gotta look into this, as every single one of us would have done.
Yeah.
So Mari does the thing. She goes home, she jumps online, she starts to read what she can find. But there are no Brazilian articles on this at all. Nothing out of Brazil at all.
Right. Because it didn't happen in Brazil.
But the American press had a lot to say.
Yeah, I bet.
It was all true. Margarida and her husband, Rene, had kept a woman as a slave for 19 years. They neglected and abused her. And when they were caught, Rene answered to the courts and Margarida ran. But because Brazil does not have mandatory extradition laws for citizens that were like born in Brazil or any agreements with the United States, there was nothing anyone could or would do about it. And Margarida had been hiding out there in her crumbling family home ever since. Mari was furious. She had actually felt bad for this woman. She had her sympathy. She was staying awake at night, worried about how this poor person was functioning. She wanted to help her, but now all she wanted was to get her the fuck out. She thought, well, these people, nobody can know. We all must not know that this person is living. I got to tell them what's going on, you know? The mess Margarida lived in suddenly wasn't a shame anymore. It was a hazard. Looking at the house with fresh eyes, Mari saw plumes of black mold, crumbling stone, and clouds of mosquitoes in standing water. Brazil is a tropical place, and the mosquitoes can be a problem. Not just because they're inconvenient, but because they can carry dengue fever, which can be life-threatening. Severe dengue fever can lead to shock, internal bleeding, organ failure, and even death. This is not the kind of thing a pregnant woman, or a woman who works with pregnant women and wants to become pregnant, wants to expose themselves or their clients to at all.
Right.
So Mari did what she could. She started asking around. People didn't seem surprised. And so she started leaving comments on several of the articles she had discovered, stating that Margarida was still living in that house and that the whole property was a festering eyesore and a health hazard. And she wasn't wrong. Mari wanted to get her out, but more than that, she really wanted people to know what was going on and who their country was hiding. She thought for sure they can't possibly know this and not do anything. That can't be what's happening. But it turned out that was exactly what was happening. People in Brazil did know about Margarida. They just didn't care. Mari said, quote, "No one caught her in Brazil because she is white, powerful, and rich."
Definitely white.
Yep, super white. She said, "I was so angry about this." Meanwhile, in a house down the block, Chico was at his own computer. He couldn't find anything about this strange woman because he didn't have much to go on. You know, what are you going to say? Old lady with white face wandering around? And again, if you're looking just locally, there's nothing to find. But maybe he could learn a little more about the house and go from there. After all, the neighbor said her family was fairly important and well-known, and they had the house built for them, specially built for them, so it seemed reasonable, and it was. On a website about the history of Higienópolis, Chico hit pay dirt. There was, in fact, a lot about the woman in the abandoned manor and her family to be found, and as we know, it was not all good.
Right.
The first thing he found was an article about a celebrated doctor who grew up in the manor house and went on to live there with his own family. The doctor was a beloved member of the community, a pioneer in the field of urology, a philanthropist, and a father to an utter disgrace. Said disgrace, his daughter Margarida had run from the United States government. So here's everything being confirmed. He's now finding out all of the stuff about her keeping a slave. And there's a little bit more in this article that he finds. He finds out that Margarida had been abusing this woman, denying her food and medical care. It was like horrifying and intense. The doctor who had lived there passed away in 1998. His wife passed away in 2011. And somehow, despite having other children that did not have terrifying out of like court records, the house had been passed down to Margarida. Now she was the sole occupant of the once grand manor home. And she lived in isolation, hiding from the public, because for a while, people did talk when it first happened. And so she hid, having never answered for the atrocities she had committed. She's wearing that shit on her face because she doesn't want anyone to know who she is.
But everybody knows who she is then.
The older people,
yeah.
They don't care. But anybody, I think it's a practice she started out of paranoia and then just was like, well, if I stop, what if they put two and two together? Right. And she doesn't come by the house super honestly either, which we'll get into. Well, Chico thought, this has turned into a very different kind of podcast.
Yes.
His journalism background kicked in and Chico knew he had to dig deeper. He was also updating his friends in the neighborhood. So people who the younger generation does not know. And he's, of course, this is crazy good gossip.
Yes, it is.
He's this like, guys, he's telling people that he knows.
Megan.
sit down. I have some shit to tell you. And they're all like, oh my God. They're all surprised, obviously. So one day he pulls up the article about the doctor that he found. He's like, look at this shit, man. Megan, we'll call her Megan. Good job. Look at this shit, Megan. And she's like, oh my God. So she reads it and they're like, we got to look at the comments. Of course you do, right? They look into the comments and immediately Megan, our friend, looks at them and goes, that's Mari. Yeah. I know her.
Of course Meg does.
Yeah, of course. Coming in clutch, right? Mari's comments were just a few years old, and she said that she was still living in the same apartment. So good old Megan says, listen, I think Mari could really help you with this. She's kind of on her own mission with it. And I think you two would get along really well. Let me set up a meeting between you two.
And she wants a baby.
I know, right? She's like, also, can you help me with some baby stuff?
Yeah.
But she sets up a meeting at the local coffee shop. She's like, this is going to be good.
Oh, yes.
So they get together and the two of them are like instantaneously besties.
Of course.
And they are both shocked and appalled and can't believe the amount of information they have to share with one another. Ultimately, Mari agrees enthusiastically to help with Chico's expose right away. She's like, fuck yeah, I'll help with this, whatever you need. She offered up everything she already knew. And the two of them decided that they would find a way to get Chico to sit down and talk with Margarida herself. They made a plan to research the shit out of Margarida and her family, her victim, and the court case. Then they would also go into the community and talk to all of the longtime residents, the people who knew her family back when. While doing this, as a team, they were going to stake out Margarida's house and find when she came out and nail her down.
Okay.
Eventually, they knew they could land a meeting of some sort with her. And when Chico finally did talk to her, he would be ready.
Yeah.
Over the next 6 months, a lot of things happen at the same time. It does, in fact, culminate with a meeting between Chico and Margarida. They do talk eventually. And that does turn into a sensational hit podcast and more. But it can be a little confusing to go through the material. So I'm going to unravel it one piece at a time. And we'll start kind of historically. Because as I said, there's no way to see where this is going at any point in time. But it all starts with a house, right? Starts with the house. So we'll start there. In researching the history of this crumbling manor and the family that owned it, I found a great many significant ties to Brazil's history. These are not just rich people. These are people in history books. The house on Rua... Oh, I didn't look how to pronounce this. Rua... Piau? Piau? Piaui. Piai? I don't know. Paiu might be an Italian similar to Portuguese. I don't know. But that's where it is. The house is number 1111, which feels ominous to me. Just all ones. And it was built somewhere between 1913 and 1915. Now, usually when dates are hazy like this, it's not because we don't know when it was built. It's because the family moved into a small portion of the house while the rest of it was being finished. So articles don't really know when to say it was finished being built.
Right.
That's probably, it's like a manor type situation. So I can imagine that's probably what happened, but who knows? It was commissioned by a man named Vicente de Azevedo, who was something of a local celebrity, more commonly known as the Baron of Boquena. Boquena. I didn't do well on some pronunciations because my brain has been scrambled this week. Please forgive me. This guy also has his own Wikipedia page and everything, so you know he's important. I didn't anticipate running into that. The Baron, which is what we're going to call him from here on out because there are a lot of complicated names and titles coming at us, was born on October 8th of 1856 in Sao Paulo state. There's a state and a city, kind of like we have Washington's. To Colonel Jose Vicente de Azevedo and Angelina Moreira de Castro Lima. They all have like 7 names. And because it's so crazy and interesting, here's a little bit about his mother Angelina's side of the family. Just to give a little reference. Angelina's mother, Carlotta Leopoldina Castro Lima, was a Vicondesa, a.k.a. a Viscountess, which means she was a member of the nobility. They're kind of fringe royalty. Anybody that's like Bridgerton savvy will kind of understand where Viscount lives. Angelina's brother, Joaquim, was a Viscount, and her other brother, Antonio, was a Baron. But I guess Antonia didn't love that lesser title because as soon as he could, he married Joaquim's daughter, his own biological niece, so that he could be a Viscount too.
Gross.
Super gross. But that's old-timey nobility for you. Angelina, on the other hand, didn't need to be a viscountess so badly that she married a nephew. Instead, she married a high-ranking military man.
Oh, there you go, girl.
This is good, right? Together, they had 6 children. The Baron was the eldest son. Clearly, he grew up in the lap of luxury, but that didn't make him complacent. He was one of the founders of the Lorena Central Sugar Mill and director of the Sao Paulo Rio de Janeiro Railway and the Commercial Bank of the State of Sao Paulo. In 1901, he donated to the government of the Republic the land for the construction of the Piquete gunpowder factory and the military sanatorium. In his spare time, when he wasn't doing all of those things, he was also a major coffee farmer in the city of Lorena. The Canas colony, which was developed through his initiative, gave rise to the municipality of Canas. So he's like funding towns.
Yeah.
And he wasn't always a baron. He wasn't born with that title. He was made a commander of the Imperial Order of the Rose on May 27th, 1884, which meant he was in the Emperor's inner circle and was awarded the title of Baron by decree on May 7th, 1887.
Nice.
Yeah. While he was busy changing the world, the Baron married Rosa Bueno Lopez de Oliveira, with whom he had 4 children, Francisco, Lavinia, Jose, and Geraldo, Margarida's father, all of whom moved into the Grand Manor House in around 1913 to 1915. The Baron and his wife were very popular with the community they lived in. I mean, this guy is a big deal. He is a big, rich celebrity that everybody knows. They were gregarious socialites. They lived very well. This meant that their home was also completely staffed by predominantly Black domestic servants who up until 1888 were slaves. You didn't think a coffee plantation ran without slave labor, did you?
Yeah.
No, of course it didn't. However, Brazil outlawed slavery in 1888, and so after that time, technically, the Baron and his wife only had domestic servants who they supposedly paid. Wink, wink.
Mm-hmm.
Keep this in your mind pocket. It does come back with a vengeance. The Baron died in 1938, and when he did, he was the last holder of the Empire of Brazil. I'm trying to stress how big a person this is, how big this family is. In 1956, the Brazilian Post and Telegraph Company paid tribute to Baron de Bocaina by issuing a commemorative stamp on the 150th anniversary of his birth.
Okay, well, now I've grasped it.
Good. Family's a big deal.
Yeah.
His granddaughter is the woman with the white face.
So crazy.
That's like us finding out there's like another Kennedy in an abandoned house in somebody's backyard that committed a horrifying crime.
Yeah.
Well. So now,
he's so bad.
I know, our family tree moves on to Margarita's father, the doctor, who originally, the article about him is what caught Chico's eye. So Dr. Geraldo Vicente de Azevedo was born on February 6, 1907. He studied medicine at the most prestigious medical school in Brazil. He specialized in urology, which was a field that was still in development in Brazil during the early 20th century. So he's like a pioneer of medicine. Yeah. By the early 1950s, he was already an established urologist, one of the few. In 1955, the urology residency program began at Santa Casa, and by 1963, the good doctor had become the head of the urology discipline, bringing innovation and leadership into the field. Notably, Dr. G, we'll call him Dr. G. Again, I like an abbreviation, also performed the first video laparoscopy at the institution using a cystoscope and infusion of saline solution. And this was a procedure that was minimally invasive and saved a lot of people a lot of pain and suffering and probably their lives. So he's a big deal.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Everybody so far is a big fucking deal. He was not only known for his surgical skills, but also his philanthropic efforts. Dr. G often distributed food and clothing to people experiencing homelessness in the neighborhood. Everybody knew who he was. He was friendly. They also had a very social household where there was lots of events in the home. After the Baron's death in 1938, the house in question, the property, passed down to his heirs. And I think it just kind of like families came and went for the next 10 years. But in 1947, Dr. G married a woman named Maria de Lourdes Danso, a local socialite from a wealthy family, after which he became the resident owner of the house. And there they raised their family in the exact same system of privilege to which the home had always been accustomed. The home, from the time it was owned by a coffee baron who had slaves, the way it was run never changed. It was run exactly the same way from 1913.
Okay.
So, again, 1913, you're not supposed to have slaves.
Right.
Didn't mean people didn't.
Even in Brazil?
Yes,
Okay.
we're talking about exclusively in Brazil.
Okay.
Which I'll get to how that kind of system worked in a few minutes. But just keep in your mind that, like, you're not supposed to, but that doesn't mean that systems of, like, enslaved humans weren't still in place.
I gotcha. Okay.
The house had a full staff of domestic servants, which at that point in time meant maids, nannies, cooks, gardeners, and full-time companions for the children. We know that Margarida was born into the household in 1949, and we know that she has one sister. I think there are more siblings. They are not listed anywhere. Telling. We don't know who they are. We don't have their names. I will just refer to them in general terms at the points which they become necessary for the story, which is not often, but that seems to be how they want to stay.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like they want anybody to know who they are. I wonder why.
Right.
Margarida's mother, Lourdes, was remembered as a generous and well-mannered hostess. Again, everybody who touches this house is pretty much remembered the same way. She enjoyed keeping the home filled with guests and bouncing from party to party. She kept their formal dining room, this is something people specifically remember, closed off so that it would be ready at a moment's notice to receive well-to-do guests. Like, nobody was allowed to eat in the dining room. It was always laid out beautifully. And then if somebody, like a dignitary came by, she'd be like, oh, we can have dinner. It's beautiful. No one touch it. Yeah. I'm like, okay, that's thinking. She was also very controlling about things like that, like where people ate, what they did. She was the woman of the household. She was strict and authoritarian over her children when she was present. For the most part, though, after the age of 9, Margarida was raised by a maid named Hilda Rosa dos Santos. And before then, she was raised by other nannies and servants. But when Hilda came into the house, she dealt almost exclusively with Margarida among her other duties. Now, frequently, you will hear Margarida in the one and only interview with her out there, referring to Hilda as a criada. Now, while slavery was technically abolished in Brazil in 1888, and all the enslaved people were said to be set free or brought on as paid help, spoiler alert, that's not how anything really went. And though there is no documentation of enslaved people after that point in time, like a contract or a certificate of ownership, they absolutely still existed. They just exacted keeping them helpless and enslaved in a different way. Wealthy folks just started wording things differently and talking about them less. They created new names and fanciful stories for the help who never left the home. Specifically, this was done for the people who were born into servitude and spent their whole lives working for a family, one or the next, and they were just passed along.
This is what I was thinking was probably happening.
They called them criadas. And to the children who only knew this word, these were their companions, their nannies, their servants, and one-sided friends. Very wealthy children of post-slavery Brazil weren't raised with slaves. They knew that was wrong and illegal. They just had really good friends and nannies they called criadas. And Margarida was no exception. Margarida was often described as a very well-dressed, prim young woman. She attended Catholic schools and, of course, finishing school, but did not pursue higher education. It was less common for women in that era in Brazil. She was being trained at home to be a wife, hostess, and mother, and she was happy with that. Now, the meaning of that is going to be a little different than what we think of like a 1950s house, not 50s, it'd be like 60s, 70s, but we think of a housewife, right? We think of a housewife as they keep house, they make food, they cook, they bake, they decorate, they're involved in everything. That's not what we're talking about.
No, I feel like she was like
lady of the manor.
Yeah, like the
exactly
Downton Abbey style.
Absolutely. Yeah. She was trained to be waited on, not to do any of the waiting. She was accustomed to a home with servants, and she was meant to be skilled at entertaining, chairing charitable organizations, planning parties, keeping the family well-dressed and groomed, and looking pretty in public.
Right.
She could make statements about her husband's lovely career, and like she was a first lady of this manor, was what she was. That's what she thought her life was going to be. That's what her mother was. That's what her grandmother was. Why not? She was on track to carry on this family legacy when, in 1972, at a party for the well-to-dos, she met a man named Rene Bonetti. Rene was not from a super wealthy family. He was closer to working class. They had plenty of money, but they weren't history book aristocracy rich. However, he was an up-and-coming, respected scientist. And at this point in Brazilian history, the aristocracy is kind of fading. They really didn't have these aristocratic families as much. And they were really turning to and looking up at people who were innovative in their field, innovative in science, in medicine. They were like, these are the next people we have to invest in. They are going to be the pillars of our community. So they consciously did that. Crafty, right?
Yes.
So crafty. So Rene had gotten his bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, then went on to get his master's from the Institute of Space Research. When he and Margarida met, he was in the process of obtaining his PhD in microwave circuits from the Technological Institute of Aeronautics, while simultaneously working for the Microwave Laboratory of INPE. So he has a very, very impressive education and career ahead of him. Rene is a very eligible prospect, even though he's not coffee baron money.
Right.
Rene was well-spoken and respected, and Margarita's family thought this would be a perfect match. So they could not have been happier when she and Rene hit it off. Rene and Margarida moved into Margarita's family home, the manor, right after the wedding, where they enjoyed a very comfortable life for a time. Rene continued to climb the ladder of engineering and aerospace technology, and he and Margarida had one child, a son named Arthur. The family was pleased as punch to have him in the house. They thought, this is going so well. Everything is great. Then, in 1979, Rene was given the opportunity of a lifetime. The ComSat Laboratories facility in Clarksburg, Maryland, expressed interest in hiring Rene to work on their NASA-affiliated projects involving satellite-related initiatives. This is a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
This is like pioneering space stuff. Huge on it's a huge deal. And Margarita's family gets that. They were like, whoa, this is a really big deal. The only catch is that Rene, Margarida, and Arthur would have to move to America if he accepted the job, which of course he did immediately, with Margarita's family's full support. They were like, this is awesome. We will help you however you can. Do it. Margarida, you're going to go to America and be this prestigious scientist's wife. It's incredible. And Margarida was like, I don't want to do that. I hate it.
Oh, no.
They were like, I'm sorry, what now? She did not want to move to America at all. She loved Brazil. She loved her life. She loved her house. She loved her servants. She loved her lifestyle. And in America, that's not how life was. Everything would be different. In America, Margarida would have to run her own household. She'd have to do the laundry and make dinner. She'd have to care for her own child. Gross.
I mean, she could have a live-in nanny.
Well, all she could see was that she wasn't going with her, like she wasn't going to be in the same life that she was living, and she didn't want any part of it. She didn't want to look for a nanny. She didn't want to look for servants. And they weren't starting out with an astronomical amount of money in the United States. I mean, they did have a good amount, but they weren't bringing their family's built-in scenario with them. You know, they were starting fresh, and she did not want to start anything fresh. She was going to be the lady of the manor. That's what she was raised for. She hated this.
Okay.
But her family was like, you're being petulant and stupid. No, go to America, spread our legacy out, go over there. That's what we got to do. She did not have that kind of foresight. And she felt that she was so above starting fresh and being like a woman that has to do stuff for herself that she finally said she found it insulting that they were even asking her to do that.
Oh, wow.
She's like, how dare you even think I'm going to try? That is for dumb pores. Not me.
She sounds awful.
Well, she is awful.
Yeah.
And I also can't stress enough that this was surprising to her family. Even though all of them had a shit ton of money and lived this unbelievably privileged lifestyle, they were still academics and really career and community-driven people.
Right.
So that's why I told everybody the whole history of their family, because they are pillars of where they live. They have made huge contributions. They do not hate the pores and want to stay in their little house, but that's what Margarida did. Her family said, okay, well, we're not going to let this fly. Stop throwing a goddamn temper tantrum. How are we going to convince her to go? In the end, they decided that the way they would do it was to lie to her. Bad call. Yeah. They said, listen, we just found out it's only going to be for a year. You go over there for a year. Renee does very important spaceman stuff. And then you come home. You'll be fine. And she said, I don't want to go for a year.
Oh my God.
And they were like, what the fuck are we going to do now? So then in a desperate Hail Mary, her mother says, you can take Hilda. You can keep your Crayata with you. I'm giving her to you. What? Okay. And her mother says, she can help you do everything you need help with. To which Margarida replies, good, because I won't be doing anything. Know this, when I am there, I don't do a thing. I am not doing anything. Her mom was like, well, she'll help you and she'll be your friend. Take her along. You'll have somebody with you. You'll be fine. She kind of ignored that temper tantrum, which would kick her in the ass in the end. But Margarida finally acquiesced. She's like, fine, I'll have Hilda with me. I guess I'll just go to America. Ugh.
I mean, part of me also feels like, obviously Margarida is being, I don't know. Insane. But I would have thought that they would have brought like a staff with them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Well, again, I'm saying like,
I know
that's the big change in lifestyle for her.
Yeah.
And her family, who, while they are from wealth, their own titles, they are still to a point self-made. Every single one of them made names for themselves and did stuff and built a career.
Right.
So they're like, well, Renee has already done that. You'll be fine there. You're just building a different place. And she's like, I don't want any of that. Thank you very much.
Right. Yeah.
I guess they also, it's not, again, the reason the beginning of this podcast spoke about the affliction of affluenza is because nobody realizes what change looks like at all at any step in the game. Mm-hmm. Nobody. Her family is not going, oh shit, you're not going to have what you've been used to and we've been used to for a million generations. They just think it'll work out fine. You're going to go over there with your husband and you'll get a house and you're fine.
Right.
You'll hire the help. You'll do your own thing. I mean, we didn't have to hire anybody, but like somebody did at some point in time. You'll be fine. That just happens for rich people. You'll just take care of it. Or somebody will.
Okay.
Like Renee's got this. You're fine.
Right. Because I guess that's what's shocking to me is that they aren't thinking like, we'll need, like you're going to need a staff of people for the house, just like we have here. And this is how we get it.
Yeah.
Or like, obviously you're going to take your Crayatas or, like with you because.
Yeah. I think they just don't know how that happens.
Okay.
They just don't understand that it doesn't fall into place for people.
Which is then, now I'm thinking if she was trained to be this like woman of the house, then she probably wasn't trained completely because if they didn't know that this is how you get them.
Again, that's why the knowledge of legacy is very important in this case because all of them are progressively more affluenza afflicted.
Yeah.
They are smart. They did make money. They did do things for the community. I'm not taking that away from her family, but they didn't know how to set up their life per se.
Right. They didn't like hire these people.
No.
The people had babies that were then just staying there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or other families had servants with babies that they then just gave to them.
Gotcha.
They were just given help.
Yeah.
So I guess then this does come into play later. They kind of assumed they could just be given some over in America.
Yeah.
They also are all completely out of touch with America. They have no idea what the United States is like. They have no idea that we don't all have slaves running around. It's not a thing. We don't.
Right.
I mean, like, yes, you guys, I fully understand that there are still enslaved people in America in some conditions. I am not stupid. I understand that trafficking is a thing. What I am saying is it is not a super common, hidden in plain sight, in every rich household, ever present thing.
Right.
And if it is, you can tell me all about it. Not you, Leslie.
Well, here we go.
I know. or rather, in America, there are also so many tiers of wealth.
Right.
That, like, you don't really see anyone that would be so wealthy. They'd have, like, some sort of ingrained system of servitude.
No.
It is, and I will say this, I know, I'm trying to cover my ass because I know there's so many but actuallys out there in the universe that want to tell me like, but actually there's slaves everywhere.
What you're saying is that this isn't like in a not but actually moment. Like the overall arcing is like, even in those insanely rich households, like those people are still, at least in America, are probably, they probably understand like this is how you hire the staff.
Yeah. And the staff is the staff. They may be minimally paid, but it is not as common as it is in Brazil to this day, shock surprise, to have servants that you don't pay.
Right. Yeah, like in America, we would know it was wrong that we weren't paying them.
Exactly.
If they weren't being paid, we'd know that it was wrong.
Yeah, we'd know you're supposed to pay them.
Yeah.
These people don't know you're supposed to pay them.
Gotcha. Okay.
Which is not an excuse at all.
Yeah.
But it's something that we should remember. So where's Hilda in the mix, right? Did anyone ask her? Were they like, hey, Hilda, do you want to go to America with your favorite girl, Margarida, and keep her company and help her? Of course they did not. No, not even a little bit. Because if they had, Hilda wouldn't have known how to say no. She was in unpaid servitude her entire life. I don't even think she knew she could say no.
Right.
There was no options. She just went where they pointed. That was it. Hilda was born into a poverty-stricken city as one of 12 children to a single mother she never knew.
Oh.
No. From the time she could walk, she was regularly beaten within an inch of her life for any mistakes she made or for no reason at all in order to teach her to be completely submissive.
Okay. This is so sad.
It's very sad. She was kept completely illiterate and spoke only Portuguese. Now, I'm going to remind you that she was born in like 1939. This is not 1850. This is way after slavery was supposed to exist. But this system that she is going through is exactly how one would create a slave.
Right.
Right?
So now she's 40.
Yeah. She was immediately given away for a life of servitude as soon as she could be passed off to someone, right? And she worked for various families before ending up with Margarita's mother when she was 19. Lourdes, Margarita's mother, was decent to Hilda. Hilda says, there is an interview of Hilda. It is moving. She says, like, Lourdes was a decent mistress of the house. She behaved how she expected a mistress to behave. She did have a temper. She would lash out sometimes. But despite all that, Hilda lived and worked in the big house. She got along all right. Lourdes fed her. She made sure she had clean clothing and a place to sleep and a roof over her head. And that was seen as payment for her labor. It certainly wasn't, but that was the arrangement she thought, that she just thought that's how everything worked.
Right.
I also need to remind everyone that Hilda doesn't know how the world works at all either.
Right.
And they kept her uneducated for this exact reason. Yeah. She has no idea that people are normally paid for this kind of service. She does not know any of this. She was in a system that had been hardwired into this family since the days of coffee barons and viscounts. When Hilda was told that she was moving to America with Margarita, it was implied to her also that it would be temporary. She'd come back in a year. Hilda was told that while she was in the United States, she was to be Margarita's companion. The household said, you are her companion. You will keep her company. You will help her with things. And you will be her friend because she doesn't know anyone there. That's what was supposed to happen. When asked about this arrangement, Margarida said that Hilda was a gift from her mother. If that's not slave language, I don't know what is. But what no one gave any credit to in this situation, including Hilda herself, was how hard this was going to be for her. They may have these notions that she can go out during the day or do this or do that if she wants or whatever. But Hilda's already dismal life would be changed drastically for the worse when she got to America for a lot of reasons that, again, affluenza-afflicted people are never going to see. She was used to being one of many servants living in a large full house. In America, she'd be the only person at her station in this household. She's alone now. While Hilda thought she would accompany Margarita like a friend, that's not what happened. And when she was on her own there was absolutely nothing Hilda would be able to do. She was completely illiterate and spoke absolutely no English, only Portuguese. And in the neighborhood she moved into, there are people in the United States that speak Portuguese. There have been for a long time.
My best friend does.
There you go. There are pockets of people that's their method of communication. That is not where she moved. Spanish, yes, fine. German, some. Other languages, not Portuguese.
No, they all lived in, if they did come over, they lived in a community.
Exactly.
And you would find that community and that's where you would move.
And that's not where they went.
Yeah.
Now, I'm assuming since Margarida and Renee are like aristocratic, that they have some grasp of English. Renee absolutely speaks English. He has to. And I think Margarida has enough to get by and go to church and stuff.
Okay.
But Hilda couldn't read maps or signs, so she couldn't use public transportation or know which direction was which. She couldn't communicate with a doctor or a shopkeeper. She wasn't told anything about her new town or surrounding area, so she could really only go as far as her feet and memory would take her on a walk. She wasn't given any money, so she relied on her employers for every single basic need, and should they want to deny her anything, nobody was there to stop them. And spoiled Margarida was used to having whatever she wanted, whenever she wanted it. And left to their own devices in a place where nobody was checking in, things got very bad, very fast.
Oof.
But we will save that part for part 2.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
This is wild.
I told you it was going to be a roller coaster ride, and we're not done yet.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So guys, you'll have to come back next week for the second part of this episode.
Okay.
Don't cheat.
Don't cheat.
Don't cheat. Let's do the rest together, and then you can go watch the documentary and listen to all the things and give those people your business and your money for all their hard work. But let's find out together.
Okay.
All right. So I can't sign off yet.
No.
I can't. We haven't done a 2-parter in a while. Do we toast? No, right?
No,
we can't toast yet.
Wait till the end.
We wait till the end. I guess then that's just all we have for this week.
Okay, bye.
We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the We Would Be Dead podcast. Hit subscribe now to never miss an episode. Rate and review our show on iTunes. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Would Be Dead Pod. And join our Facebook group to discuss the podcast and more.